You withdrew. You stepped back. You stopped the texts. You stopped the over-explaining. You stopped making yourself endlessly available. You became the man who doesn't orbit her chaos. And now, she's noticed. But here's what you didn't expect. She won't accept it. She won't let you walk away in peace. No, she'll test you. She'll test if your withdrawal is real. She'll test if you've actually changed. She'll probe for the desperate man underneath. Picture this. You stop texting. 2 days pass. Then she sends something. Not a question, not an invitation, just something. A meme, a song, a screenshot of nothing important. You think it's random. It's not. It's the first test. You think you understand what's happening. You don't. You think her silence means she's done. It's the opposite. When you withdraw your attention, when you stop being predictable, her mind does something automatic. It searches for confirmation. It searches for proof that you're still the same man who used to chase. And she will test that proof 5 different ways. 5 different tests designed to see if you've actually changed or if you're just performing. But here's what you don't understand. Withdrawal is only half the equation. The other half? Holding your frame when she tests it. Because she will test it every single time. And if you break, if you slip back into the old pattern, if you reveal that your indifference was just a strategy to get her back, you lose everything. The frame is the anchor. The tests are the storm. And most men, they don't even know they're being tested until they've already failed. Let me show you the 5 tests she runs. Let me show you why indifference isn't cruelty. It's your greatest weapon. Test 1. The breadcrumb. She reaches out with something meaningless. A meme. A random observation. This reminded me of you. It feels innocent. It's not. It's a breadcrumb. She's checking if you're still hungry. She's testing if one tiny crumb of her attention will make you come running back. Because if you do, she knows something. Your withdrawal was fake. You were just playing a game. The breadcrumb test reveals one thing. Are you still starving? Most men fail this test in the first 5 minutes. They see her name on their phone and they break. They respond immediately. They match her energy. They try to turn the breadcrumb into a conversation. That's the loss. Right there. Test 2. The emotional bait. This one's darker. She shares something vulnerable, something emotional. I've been thinking a lot lately. Things have been hard. I don't know who to talk to. You think she's opening up. You think she needs you. But here's what's actually happening. She's testing if you'll step back into the old role. The emotional caretaker. The man who drops everything to fix her. The emotional bait test reveals one thing. Are you still her therapist? You want to help. I get it. But the moment you rush in to comfort, to solve, to be her therapist, you've confirmed something in her mind. You're still the same. You're still the man who puts her emotional needs above his own frame. That's not attractive. That's predictable. Test 3. The provocation. She says something designed to get a reaction. She mentions another guy. She posts something on social media clearly meant for you to see. She's out, she's busy, she's fine without you. Every move calculated to trigger you. You think she's moved on. You think she's trying to hurt you. But here's the truth. She's testing if you're still emotionally invested. She's testing if your indifference cracks when she shows you she has options. The provocation test reveals one thing. Does she still own your emotions? Most men either get angry or get anxious. Both reactions are the same. Both reveal that she's still living in your head. Both confirm that you're not actually unbothered. You're just performing it. And she can smell performance from a mile away. Test 4. The proximity play. She suddenly wants to see you. Coffee. Casual, just as friends. She engineers closeness. She shows up where you'll be. She asks mutual friends about you. Every move designed to get proximity. You think she wants you back. Maybe she does. But what she's really doing, she's testing if physical proximity breaks your frame. She's testing if being near her, seeing her, makes you revert to the old dynamic. The proximity test reveals one thing. Can you stay anchored when she's close? This is where most men collapse completely. Because it's one thing to be unbothered over text. It's another thing to be unbothered when she's sitting across from you, and you can smell her perfume, when she's laughing and touching your arm and looking at you the way she used to. That's the storm. Can your anchor hold? Test 5. The direct question. This is the final test, the most dangerous one. She asks directly, "Why have you been distant? Did I do something wrong? Do you still care?" You think she wants honesty. You think she wants clarity. But here's what she's actually doing. She's testing if you'll explain yourself. She's testing if you'll justify your withdrawal. She's testing if you'll break frame and give her the emotional certainty she's craving. The direct question test reveals one thing. Do you still need her to tell you who you are? The man who explains has already lost, because the moment you justify your behavior, you've handed her the frame. You've made your actions conditional on her approval. You've shown that her opinion of you matters more than your own reality. That's not indifference, that's negotiation. See the pattern? All 5 tests have one thing in common. They're all designed to see if you've actually changed or if you're just playing a game. They're all designed to check if your frame is real or if it's a performance you'll drop the moment she applies pressure. So what is frame? Most men get frame completely wrong. They think it's dominance, loudness, control, the alpha in the room. They're wrong. Frame is this: your reality is stronger than her emotions. That's it. That's the entire law. Let me say that again. Your reality is stronger than her emotions. She's upset. Your frame doesn't bend to fix it. She's distant. Your frame doesn't chase to close the gap. She's testing. Your frame doesn't react to prove anything. Frame is self-possession. It's the ability to remain unmoved by external validation or external chaos. It's the anchor that holds when the storm comes. And here's the brutal truth. Words don't matter. Frame is everything. Women fall for the man with the strongest frame. Think about it. She's projecting her internal chaos onto you, her moods, her tests, her emotional weather. And most men, they take on that projection. They absorb it. They let her internal state dictate their external behavior. That's frame collapse. But the man who holds frame, he doesn't absorb the projection. He lets it pass through. He remains anchored to his own reality. And that's what magnetizes her. Not because he's cruel, not because he doesn't care, but because he's the only solid thing in a world where everything else bends to her emotional gravity. Indifference becomes your weapon because it's the most honest expression of frame. You're not indifferent to her as a person. You're indifferent to her tests. You're indifferent to her need to control the dynamic. You're indifferent to whether she validates you or not. That's the shift. That's the power. Here's the psychology. Human beings are wired to value what they can't control. We obsess over uncertainty. We chase what feels just out of reach. And when you hold your frame, when you remain unbothered by her tests, you become the thing she can't control. Not because you're playing hard to get, but because you're genuinely anchored to something deeper than her approval. Feel the difference. Performing indifference is a strategy. Actually being anchored is a state. And she will know the difference. Every single time. Because the man who's performing indifference breaks the moment she applies real pressure. But the man who's anchored, the storm doesn't move him. That's the law. Frame is the anchor. Indifference is the proof that your anchor is real. And when she tests you, she's trying to see if you're real. She's trying to see if you're the man who finally won't bend. Because every other man before you, he bent. That's why she keeps testing. That's why the tests get harder. She's searching for solid ground. So how do you actually hold frame when the tests come? Let's get tactical. Test 1. The breadcrumb. She sends something meaningless. A meme. A random text. This reminded me of you. Don't respond immediately. Don't try to turn it into a conversation. Don't match her energy with enthusiasm. Here's what you do. Acknowledge it without investment. Wait. Hours. Maybe a day. Then respond with something equally low investment. Haha, yeah. That's it. No questions. No continuation. No invitation for more. The frame you're holding. I have my own life. Your breadcrumb doesn't disrupt it. Test 2. The emotional bait. She shares something vulnerable. I've been thinking a lot lately. Things have been hard. Don't rush in to fix it. Don't become her emotional therapist. Don't drop everything to comfort her. Here's what you do. Acknowledge without absorbing. That sounds tough. Yeah, you'll figure it out. Simple. Compassionate but boundaried. You're not cold. but you're not her emotional utility either. The frame you're holding. I care, but I'm not responsible for managing your emotions. The moment you make her emotional state your problem to solve, you've collapsed your frame. You've put her needs above your own reality. Don't do it. Test 3. The provocation. She mentions another guy. She posts something clearly meant to make you react. Here's what you don't do. Get angry. Here's what you don't do. Get anxious. Here's what you don't do. Respond at all. Here's what you do. Nothing. Silence. Complete indifference. The frame you're holding. What you do with other men is your business. It doesn't affect my reality. This is where most men fail. Jealousy and anger are just fear wearing different masks. Fear that you're losing control. Fear that she has power over you. Let it go. The man who reacts has already lost. Test 4. The proximity play. She wants to see you. Coffee. Casual. Just as friends. Here's what you don't do. Jump at the opportunity. Here's what you don't do. Clear your schedule immediately. Here's what you don't do. Treat it like a chance to win her back. Here's what you do. If you want to see her, set terms. Your schedule, your location, your frame. I'm free Thursday at 7, coffee near my place. Not a negotiation, not a question, a statement. The frame you're holding. I make decisions based on my reality, not your convenience. And when you see her, don't break. You hold the same frame in person that you held over text. You don't light up. You don't get nervous. You don't try to impress. You're the same unbothered man. Physically present but emotionally anchored. Test 5. The direct question. She asks, why have you been distant? Do you still care? Here's what you don't do. Explain. Here's what you don't do. Justify. Here's what you don't do. Reassure her. Here's what you do. Deflect with calm. I've been focused on my own thing. Or, I'm good, just busy. That's it. No elaboration, no emotional justification. The frame you're holding. I don't need to explain myself to you. She's asking for clarity. She's asking for reassurance. Every instinct in you wants to give it to her. Don't. The moment you explain, you've entered her frame. You've made your behavior subject to her approval. Don't do it. Now here's the warning. You cannot fake this. You cannot perform indifference while secretly hoping she comes back. You cannot hold frame as a strategy to manipulate her. The internal game always leaks into the external game. She will feel it. If you're holding frame to get her back, you're not holding frame. You're just being strategic. And the moment she doesn't respond the way you want, you'll break. You'll get frustrated. You'll slip back into chasing. Real frame comes from real indifference, and real indifference comes from this. You've genuinely anchored your worth to something other than her validation. That's the internal work. That's the part most men skip, and that's why most men fail the tests. Do you see it now? Do you see why the frame has to be real? Can you feel the difference between holding frame to get her back versus holding frame because you genuinely moved your center of gravity? So what happens when you pass the tests? Here's the shift. She stops testing. The tests transform. They become less about breaking your frame and more about understanding it. She starts asking different questions. She starts showing up differently. Because you become the man who doesn't bend. And that man, he lives in her mind like a fever. Every other man before you bent, every other man reacted to her tests. Every other man proved that she could control the dynamic. But you didn't. You held your frame. You remained anchored when the storm came. That's the shift. You became the solid ground she's been searching for. You became the man who doesn't need her validation to remain whole. That's attractive. Not in the shallow sense, in the deep, magnetic, can't look away sense. Holding frame isn't about winning her back. Holding frame is about winning yourself back. It's about reclaiming the part of you that you gave away the moment you started orbiting her chaos. When you hold frame, you're not doing it for her. You're doing it for you. Because the man who can remain anchored in the face of emotional storms is free. Free from the desperate need for external validation. Free from the exhausting performance of trying to be enough. That's the real weapon. Indifference toward the outcome. You're unbothered not because you don't care. You're unbothered because you've anchored your worth to something she can't touch. That's the frame. That's the anchor. That's the law. Now here's what's coming. You've withdrawn, you've passed the tests, you've held your frame, but what happens next? What happens when she starts coming back? What happens when she starts investing again? That's where most men collapse completely. Because the moment she shows interest, the moment she starts chasing, they drop the frame. They think they've won. They think the game is over. And they slip right back to the old dynamic. That's the trap. In the next video, I'm going to show you the most dangerous phase of this entire process. The phase where she starts chasing. The phase where she starts showing you the attention you've been craving. And I'm going to show you exactly why that's when you're most vulnerable to losing everything. Because here's the brutal truth. Holding frame when she's distant is hard. But holding frame when she's close, when she's giving you everything you wanted, that's where the real test begins. So what happens when she starts chasing? That's when most men fail. That's the most dangerous moment of all. The frame anchor isn't just about withdrawal. It's about what you do when she comes back. And most men, they don't see the trap until they're already in it. Stay anchored. Stay unbothered, because the real game is just beginning. I'll see you in the next one. Emotional stillness. Mastering the art of being unmoved.